welcome everybody to another episode of Preston's monthly reviews, and this month we'll be doing July, as now when this video goes out we should be in August, so we're going to look at July. There's a few things I want to cover with you guys today, and we've got my notes in front of me, so we're going to go through a couple of bits and pieces from a bit of an audio advice, in my opinion, what I've learned about audio settings and audio placement. We've got some advice about testing, pre-testing your audio, so make sure everything's clear and the people you're talking to is clear, and balance with the guys that you're with, especially if you're recording. We've got about going live, the updates about me going live, which is going to happen really soon. We've got a couple of YouTube channels I want to speak to you guys about that have done a bit of rebranding or a bit of polishing of their channel. We made it a bit more professional. That I want to go through with you guys and give them a bit of a spotlight as they rightfully deserve. I think it's as channels grow, become bigger, I think looking after the smaller channels is really important, and that's my objective today with a couple of channels. Another couple of things for you is I did a poll about podcasts. We'll go through that very quickly as well, and reaction videos as well. I want to go through that with you guys as well. And a bits and pieces of advice I've got for you guys about how to operate and how to do things. So we'll have a look at that. So let's get started with the first topic. Here we go. Okay, let's get started with the first thing. So we're going to go over these things quite broadly. There are of course loads of channels out there that do sort of technical advice and how to do things on a more detailed basis, but I'm just going to go through with you what I've learned, for example, about some of the experiences I've had with audio. Now, strictly about the audio, what I'm referring to is your microphone and where it's placed and how it interacts with your surroundings and the environment that you're in. Can greatly impact the audio quality. But I just forgot before we go there, and you see that back there, look, you see all this back there? Yes, you are no longer staring at a purple ball, and Felicia, who was located just here, did indeed fall down eventually, so I've actually put her away somewhere nice and safe. Of course, one of the reasons that a few people raised concerns with me about is well, she is, and the image of what I had of her was a little bit questionable, although still technically she was covered. It would raise questions, and she did fall down eventually. And these posters I've got behind me I've had for a long time. I think the blue tack that is still attached to them is probably older than me, but as you can see it's a massive difference and it's a bit more colourful, so you haven't got to look at my face all the time. We go this way. We have, say, Akira, which is obviously a 1990s anime film, manga. We've got obviously Chaos Space Marines. I've got that actually a long time ago, many years ago, and we've got a couple of the bits of Legacy of Hirot. I think that's Dungeon. Look at myself, Dungeon Master. There's a game that was out for the Amiga many years ago, and a picture of a nebula. But we're digressing, but yeah, so improving backgrounds as possible, which obviously leads me to audio. Now I use the Yeti microphone, Yeti Blue. Is it Blue? Yes, it is Yeti Blue microphone, which I find really suitable for me. But obviously having audio, obviously using audio has its challenges as well. So what do I mean? Well, for an example, in a couple of videos, that's simply me moving my head backwards and forwards like this can greatly impact the quality of the sound that you guys are listening to. So you don't get this with a microphone obviously on your head. So some people, what they'll do is they'll have a microphone on their head, and the distance between your mouth and the mic is consistent and a constant all the time, where the microphone I'm using, because it's actually placed in front of me on my desk, as I move around when I'm playing games or I sit back slightly, it will change the volume and the intensity of my voice. And there's been a couple of times I've played some video games, I've been talking to other people, and I've noticed a bit of playback. Sometimes my voice comes over quite strong, quite loud and overpowering on the others, and it's important to do what they call pre-checks. So in the group that you're with, you'll record 10 seconds, you'll move around a little bit, and you'll basically balance the input of your volume to the video, make sure it's all balanced, but it's not always possible in terms of it's bulletproof. You know, I could do this now when my microphone is, and unfortunately what could happen is I could again sit back and relax, and then all of a sudden, because this microphone is quite sensitive, even to the point where you know, I put my hand on the desk, I'm not even tapping it that hard, the microphone will pick it up, and even random mouse clicks, you know, sometimes it's unavoidable, and to the point where I will have music going over while I'm doing this video recording when you're watching it, but my PC is actually literally just here, so you know, it's got fans going, it can be quite loud. So you've got a lot of things to take into consideration when it comes to your environment and how the quality of the audio you want to put out. The games that you play will be the games, and most of the people I speak to, you know, you on Discord, you turn them up, turn them down, you adjust them so you can hear them. But because obviously I play through headphones, it can be quite difficult there. When I'm playing, everyone's quite clear and quite balanced in terms of their audio quality, but on the video itself, when I record it, it's a bit different. So the first thing you want to try and do is get somewhere where the microphone is reasonably comfortable for you, and it's at a good distance, and it's not going to be knocked or interfered with while you're doing your recording. I have got one of those arms, I don't know what it's called, I've got newer, it's called, one of those arms that microphones sit on. I actually used to have it just over here. You couldn't see it in the camera shot, but it was actually here when I was talking into it, but it interfered with I've got an aircon unit here, so it interfered with the maintenance of that particular aircon unit, and it just got in the way, so I took it all apart, and I put my microphone on the desk. The disadvantage with that is that when I move the mouse and I knock my desk slightly, the microphone will pick it up, and occasionally the clicking of the mouse. And I have a mechanical keyboard, but I'm actually using another keyboard that doesn't make the clicking sounds because the microphone was picking up all the clicking sounds. But the arm obviously didn't have this problem. When I knocked the desk, the vibrations wouldn't go to the microphone. So it's finding out what works for you, and it's finding out what works in general. I mean, I've watched some proper professional podcasts, and you can hear the people when they put their hands on the desk. The microphone is still picking it up. I've even amateur like myself, YouTubers that they're playing games, and you can hear the click in, and you can hear the interaction with the person with their surroundings on the microphone. So even the professionals still have unnecessary interactions with their microphone, and if you've got the time to really fine-tune, edit it out, I think you can, but a lot of us don't have that particular opportunity. So what I'm saying to you is, it is a general rule. If you have a microphone in front of you, or wherever it is around you, make sure that you put it somewhere where it's comfortable for you. It's going to be more beneficial for you. When you go into a game or you're doing a recording, do some checks, do a little record a video, get everybody to do mic checks, yes, and speak about something for 10 seconds, and then you can balance it a little bit to do your best to try and make sure when you've published the video and you edit the video for its final stages that everything is balanced as best as possible. It's not always possible. I've had videos where I've released where the game is too quiet and my voice is too loud, and I've become quite disappointed in the quality of the video, but it's been not that bad to just destroy the video entirely, but it's not the standard that I want it at, and I have released it. Because the original's gone. Unfortunately, I've made the stupid mistake of deleting the original after I've edited it, and I've just made a mistake and forgot, and of course the video is too late. I have to leave it as it is, or I don't post it, one of the two. But just make sure that you do your best to make sure that the audio surroundings that you've got, that it is comfortable for you and is as best quality as you can get. So moving on from that, we've got going live. So a few people I've been speaking to have mentioned about the channel going live and playing some live videos, and it is something that I'm interested in very doing. I've done some experiments and testing with the software that I have about going live, and it does work. It's just finding the right opportunity to do so, and it is something I'm really interested in, even to the point where at the time making this video, I'm playing a lot of Warhammer 40,000 Darktide when I actually get the opportunity to do so, but as the game I'm currently playing in general, it's Warhammer 40,000 Darktide, and I've actually been speaking to a couple of people, and they've mentioned, oh, you know, you're going live and that when you're recording. I said, no, not at the moment. I'm pre-recording and then edit it and I'll publish it at a later date. But going live is something I will be doing very shortly, and I'll be running some test videos to see whether or not it's popular and it works, etc. But don't worry too much, I will be going live at some point soon. Okay, so last month we did a poll. We did a poll about podcasts. Now, Podcasts I mentioned as well are highly oversaturated. There's loads of them everywhere, but they are quite popular, and I don't want to do it necessarily for the popularity of just doing it for the sake of it. I'm quite a social creature in some scenarios and some environments, and I'm quite a recluse creature in other environments. But engaging in conversations with people, especially when you're playing games online, there's so many different characters out there in the world that you speak to. I think having a podcast, at least to start a podcast initially, might be a good idea. And in my head, in my mind, I put up a poll on the channel, and it got an overall positive outlook whether the podcast for the channel would be a good idea. So it's something I'm setting up, at least on a Discord sort of basis. I haven't got a studio, as you can see. I'm not in a studio, so I can't do it on that level, which I'd love to do. Unfortunately, I can't. So it will be a Discord sort of scenario where we have people with cameras and we will have a discussion. I'm working with somebody from Canada. A bit of a conversation so far about setting something up for the first episode. And in my head, the podcast won't be strictly one subject for the entirety, of its lifespan. It will try and cover different topics, different things as each episode, and we may revisit a topic at another episode later in the future to come back to it, to find out different guests or different people, different opinions. But in general, it's going to be about the common level. Well, the people like us on the street, as such, that normal people go to work 9 to 5 sort of scenario, and we just generally talk about the topics that are affecting us and what we know about the world and what we see about the media, etc., etc. So it's going to be interesting, but that is in the theory stage, and it is in the, I'm going to say, the planning stage, where I'm beginning to write up a couple of things to give it a test run. So it won't be any time immediately soon, but it is something that I am definitely working on, and we're going to try and see if you guys enjoy it and see what kind of reaction we get from it. And talking about reactions, reaction videos again are something that is quite oversaturated. I'm not gonna lie, it is quite oversaturated, but it is something that I am thinking of doing as well. I've especially what's going on in today's world, the last definitely couple of years, 3-4 years. I think there's a lot of things up in the air, and I know you've got to be really careful when you talk about politics on YouTube. You have to be really, really careful. You shouldn't. I've been advised to stay away from it quite a bit. However, saying that, there are plenty of people on YouTube that do talk about politics, and it's a popular topic. It does generate quite a lot of views and quite a lot of watch time and subscribers, and it might be something for the channel to explore as a particular topic where people come to the channel for that particular element and not the games, for example. So it's definitely something I will probably make it more about what I'm reacting to, what I feel strongly about watching. And again, if you decide to do it yourself, be careful. If you watch a video, you're taking somebody else's video and you're reacting to that particular video, I think that's okay. I will be double checking, but I've seen plenty of people do it, and it seems to be okay. But it's something that I want to explore as well. But just be careful, and careful how you word stuff. Careful how you word stuff, and careful about the message that you're sending, because if YouTube or anybody watching it detects any, well, you know what I'm trying to say, any sort of like targeting or use elements from you, then the complaints could come in and you can face a load of problems, and nobody wants a load of problems. It's a shame that we are in a stage where we can't really say what we want to say without really getting persecuted. But in any case, there's something I'll be exploring, but yeah, that'll be in the near future. So one of the bits of advice I've got is for anybody out there that's new to the game and someone who's got a small channel, is that I've always tried to live up to my word. When I started doing YouTube on this sort of level, I really wanted to bring other people up with me. I really wanted to try and help other people, and you can't help everybody. There are times where you just can't do much, especially like now, where my working environment has changed. More not directly in itself where I work, but my shifts that I'm on have changed, which makes it a bit more difficult for me to have a stable sort of pattern with what I do things. I've got my family that I'm looking after as well, plus it's not strictly here, it's elsewhere as well, and lots of other things in real life that's going on, so it is hard to jumbled time, but I do try my best when I'm online to work with other channels, and I'm in communication with a few channels at this moment in time, trying to work about a partnership, get like the podcast that I've mentioned before, about a bit of a partnership on trying to generate not only good content for you guys, but also to boost their account and boost my account, my YouTube channel, sorry, should I say, to try and generate a bit more, a bit more interest, subscribers, a bit more interest for both of us. But because the other channels I'm dealing with are a lot smaller than mine, as a bigger channel, and there are much bigger channels out there than me by a long way, but in comparison from me to them, I'm a much bigger channel. I do take it as my responsibility to help encourage and help support these channels that are smaller, to try and bring them up and to give a bit of advertising, which will lead me on to a bit later as well. So I'll be working with that. So if you are a new channel, then don't be afraid to reach out to bigger channels. Make sure, don't think some bigger channels are just so busy they're probably not going to help you, or they might not be able to help you, but you're not going to lose anything by asking. You're not going to, if you drop them an email, most channels have an email address, you just drop them an email and say, have you got any hints or tips, or have you got any things that you can advise me on? Could I work with you on something? If you play games, could I actually, play a game with you, maybe to get a bit of visibility? And I'd like to think a lot of channels out there will do so, and I'm one of those channels. Again, if I got an email with somebody saying, well, can I play some Dark Tide with you? I have a little channel, I want to play with you a little bit, get some visibility going. Yeah, absolutely, but I'm working this set amount of days. I won't be on for a week or so we'll arrange something in the near future, and I'm pretty sure you might find some people to help you with that one. So another thing to update as well now, as going back obviously what I've just said about being quite busy in real life and all that, etc., and that some of you guys have noticed, maybe some of you haven't, but there have been a few series that have just lagged behind a little bit, and give you some examples. The Baldur's Gate series, the Sleepy Cat series, and the Conspiracy series are just examples of some of the series that are lagging behind a little bit. And it's not that I've really forgotten about them, it's just that I've been busy with other stuff, and some games and some content to create with those games is easier than others to kind of manage. So Baldur's Gate is one I have to plan a little bit, I have to get quite right, because it's a story driven game. I want to make sure that I do my best to get the story content as good as I can, where something like Dark Tide is, because it's fast paced, it literally is jump in, boom, you're there, you're fighting, it's quick, it's easy. So because of time constraints, it's not been ignored. I've actually started another series with Baldur's Gate, and I'm trying to build up a buffer of a few episodes before I start releasing them. Again, that takes a bit of time. The Sleepy Cats is another one. Sleepy Cats is a bit, I have to engineer this a little bit, get it right, and the file size is so big with the Sleepy Cat series that I actually can't store it on the hard drive, which most of my media is. I mean, the gigabyte size is ludicrous. I can't remember, I might check a bit later to amaze myself, but I think it's several hundred. It's absolutely massive. So they take a bit more engineering to do as well, so that's why I haven't done any more Sleepy Cats. There is one halfway I've done, it's halfway built, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to release that at the moment, but it is something that I am aware of, and that goes for the Conspiracy series as well. Obviously the History series I've been working on, that takes a long time to really piece together and get right, and the Conspiracy series is no different. So it is definitely some of these things that I am fully aware of, I have forgotten about, but because obviously real life's real life, I've had things to do, I've had to plan things a bit differently. So this goes on to kind of say is that we all want to be successful on YouTube. Being YouTube, not only is it fun and it's engaging, we all want to grow, we all want to go somewhere with it, but I always stipulate that real life comes first. It's really important that real life comes first, so make sure that you don't let this stress you out, you don't let it get to you, and it's not worth losing, I know I'm rich to say, hair follicles, but it's not worth getting too stressed out about if things don't go quite right. I mean, when I first started this, if you remember, I actually had scheduled videos. It was a day, I think it was daily I did initially, then it was every other day I was doing, then it was 3 times a week, and now it's twice a week. It's just, things change. Things do change, and you don't always have the opportunity of making regular content. And it's not all about the regularity of your content in terms of how much you put out per week, it's the quality. And if you're like me, I'm in my room, as I said before many a times, I'm in my room, I edit more my own stuff, I don't have I don't have the time. I do have the time. I don't have the time to really kind of edit a video at the same quality as such as somebody, you know, who's got a team that they make a video and they send it off to somebody else, and they, while they're editing that video, they're making another one. I have to edit all my own stuff, and to keep up, you know, I have to balance between getting the best I possibly can, so keeping a regular schedule and keeping it consistent. So don't stress too much. Honestly, it's dead stress too much. If people like you for who you are and they like what you do, you know, there are some professional people out there that aren't really as popular as what they would want to be, because maybe people don't like their voice, maybe they don't like their content. It could be all sorts of elements. So don't stress too much. Okay, it's not worth it. So that brings me to these two channels, and I want to introduce to you a couple of channels that, I mean, I've advertised these channels before, I've mentioned these channels before in previous monthly reviews, but they've done a little bit of a refurbishment of their logo, they've done a refurbishment of their name, and I want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up about these two channels. Now, I recommend these channels personally. They're small channels, they are really small channels, and I think it's important. Like, again, as a larger channel, I try my best to help out small channels, and even if, like, you guys out there, go check them out. Again, subscribing to them is free. It's free, you know, and it means a lot, especially as a small channel. If you get 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, you know, 20 subscribers, it's an amazing a feeling. I can remember when I first got my few subscribers started to build, as I generated content. It was overwhelming of excitement and prosperity. So I recommend you guys check these two channels out, and I say, give them a subscribe and just give them a like on a few videos as an example. It will mean a lot to them. So there was a chap called Jimmy Plays Games, and his channel was called Jimmy Plays Games. He's now called himself Rising Sun, and it's the way he compared to his older channel, which obviously I will put the pictures on the screen, is a massive difference. I think he's made the right decision by doing this, and it makes his channel a lot more professional. And I checked out some of his content. His recent content is very good, some base building games, some horror based games. He is exploring different new games as well, and he is putting in a lot of effort to make his channel as good as he possibly can, and I think he deserves a little bit of love, and I think you guys should go and check him out. So that's Jimmy Plays Games, is now called Rising Sun, and his old and his new logo will be on the screen. So, and I will give him a mention down in the description in the comments, so click on it, go and check this guy out. It's really nice guy. I've been chatting to him a little bit about his channel, and about obviously me mentioning it to him what I plan to do, and I want to help this guy out. I want to make sure that you guys are aware of his channel, because some channels just do go under the radar and they don't get picked up. I'm not going to say at all, it would be very fair to do so, but I would imagine some channels are, you know, flying high, sky high, and get seen all the time, and then some channels do seem to get left in the dark. And I think, again, it's important, especially bigger channels, that, you know, affiliate with these smaller channels and at least give them a bit of light. So I think, yeah, go check his channel out, please. The next one is actually called Psych. Psych, the original logo was a lion, and now he has an owl. So he's changed his channel and he's made it a lot more better as well. I didn't have a problem with his previous logo. I thought his last logo was really good. I didn't have any issue with it personally, but he's wanted a brand change and he's placed a new logo and spruced it up a little bit, and I think it looks really nice. He plays strategy games predominantly, a lot of Warhammer 3. I love Warhammer 3 personally, and I've spoken to him, not recently, but I've spoken to him a couple of times. Hopefully may arrange to get a game in at some point together. So Psych, if you're seeing this, buddy, we all got busy lives as such now, but we can get a game together. I'd love to start maybe a game or even a campaign with you at some point in the near future. But go check this guy out as well. Really nice guy. You know, he talks throughout his videos and he seems a natural, charismatic individual. I imagine he probably is a legend going out to the pub for a night out, where he would probably talk about anything for, you know, hours on end. So go check his channel out as well. It's really good, and these two guys, they deserve a lot of love, and I would appreciate it for me that you go and check them out at least, and say subscribing to them would mean so much to them, and to you it's just one click, boom, it's done. You know what I mean? You subscribe to their channel and then you check their stuff out. Maybe something they produce will perk your interest. So the month on the Megaverse of Preston so far, it's good. You know, the channel is consistently growing. We're getting, more subscribers coming in, and I am, putting out different content all the time. Still Monday and Thursdays. I'm not going to deviate from the Monday Thursday. Again, there's no specific schedule on the days of like this is a games day and this is not. At the moment, the last couple of weeks, I've had Monday a game's been released, and I've had a explainer video on a Thursday come out on a Thursday. That's fine. That's okay. I don't mind doing that too much. It isn't dedicated or supposed to be that way. It's just the way it's fallen at the moment. I am playing with some software to generate sort of different videos and different sort of videos content wise. I'm still playing with my software a little bit, and the AI software that I have as well to try. And I know AI has been it's everywhere, and some people hate it and some people love it to pieces and some people don't care, but yeah, I know it's everywhere. I think to be honest, having AI as a tool to make videos and make pictures, it's amazing. It is absolutely fantastic. I can't believe that the day has come where I can't draw to save my life, and I've got software I can use to generate some amazing images, and I play with it all the time. But I can understand why people will get frustrated with it, and I can understand why people will get to the point where they're like, it's too much, don't care. And I think I mentioned in the last episode, I had a bit of a conflict with an artist about it. This obviously guy was a normal artist, someone who uses their hands with a pen and pencils, etc., and got frustrated with the fact AI was coming. And I don't blame you. I honestly don't blame you. I could really appreciate the natural art where you took training in years to get good at something. I mean, all the tattoos I've got, a lot of what I've got on me is actually freehand. I mean, this wasn't freehand, this was a stencil. The up my head, that was actually hand drawn. The horns were stencils because to get right and get them level, but the actual lot of what I have on me, that was stencil, but all around here was all freehand. I mean, my back is all freehand. The artist I've got is a fantastic. He's my best friend. He's an amazing artist, and he learned over several years. He learned for a long time, or he studied. I think he went to art school. I'm not too sure, but as a hobby, as something he did at home, he used to draw all the time, and now he's really good. AI does take that on credit and effort away. I can say, get my phone, I've got an AI software on my phone, and I would plug in what I want, and it doesn't get it right all the time. Sometimes you have to regenerate it a few times and adjust things in the prompts, but I've got some amazing art pieces. I've shown a couple of them already, what I've generated over some different softwares, and it blows my mind. But I can understand the risks. So what's the plan over the next few months at this moment in my head? Well, the first thing I'm going to approach is going live. I want to start to generate live videos. I think live videos are pretty cool. I will start doing it. I probably will start doing Dark Tide. I think that's the first thing I will try. I'll have a play test and I'll start doing Dark Tide. I don't know when specifically, but stay tuned, keep your eyes open. I'll be going live at some point, and you can join in and you could be a part of it as well. After a bit of knowledge, I'm getting chat up and having this sort of system where I can engage with people. At the moment, I play with one monitor, so when I'm playing a video game, it literally is on one screen, and having a chat box open, etc. I don't think I can do at this moment in time. Although having another monitor is actually crossed my mind to the point where even having another, like a laptop next to me, where I can actually see the conversations go next to me as I'm playing. These are all things I'm really exploring as my channel is growing. These are sorts of the areas that I'm very interested in exploring and going into. So there's loads of things coming up for me in the near future. So just to cover really quickly, so guys, make sure audio, keep your microphone in roughly the same place all the time. Do some checks, make sure you go through it and it all sounds okay as best as you can. Make sure everything's turned on. I've actually recorded a couple of videos and I didn't even turn my microphone on, and waste of time. So do your testing, get your people you're with balanced. Going live, that's going to happen hopefully very soon. We've got podcasts and reaction videos. They're in the planning stage. There's something that I'm really would be exploring. If you're a small channel, don't be afraid of reaching out to the larger channels. I've not forgotten the older series either. So I say I will be looking at the older series that have been falling behind a little bit. There will be some new content coming out for them, and more importantly, check those two other channels out. It would mean the world to me if you check these two channels out. So that'd be us, The Rising Sun and Psych Games. So go and have a look at these channels. Apart from that, until then, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. It's not too long, about half an hour, so that's not too bad. Until next time.